What's up, guys? My what mic is working here. I see the little dots moving. Um, how's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Yeah, normally, I pop on here and we read comic books, and I've actually taken a. I haven't been consistent with it, so my apologies to my four regular viewers. No, I shouldn't say that. I mean, a lot of people kind of tune into my videos, but they don't really engage or interact, and that's fine. It's like I'm sure people are just popping in to see what the crazy collector's talking about this week. But yeah, the reason I'm not reading my comic books tonight, it's not doesn't have anything to do with my inability to do so or my lack of desire or want to do so. It has more to do with I use StreamYard to kind of use. That's the platform I kind of broadcast from, and I find it really nice because it gives me the opportunity to use multiple cameras, share my screen, and I think I can do that here too. That's crazy. Okay, well, maybe we will be reading our comic books. Give me just a second here. Oh, what do you know? All right. Well, way to go, YouTube. All right. So, okay. I guess we're reading comic books tonight. Yeah. The reason before is I just wanted to finish the thought as to why I wouldn't have read the comic books, because I thought YouTube Studio or live streaming would not have supported screen sharing, and I have to kind of take a break from StreamYard because I want to have enough bandwidth. They limit you to like a specific number of hours you can stream off that. And I just want to make sure like I have, we're doing a lot of interviews for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, like we normally do on the channel. This is a sort of a community event where a lot of my fellow YouTube creators of Asian American Pacific Islander descent kind of gather, and we interview other API members, creators, just people we want to highlight in the community. And it's a fun month. We get to talk to a lot of cool people, talk about a lot of things related to who we are as a community, our cultural, like insights into just our cultural experience, really fun conversations, and of course, just highlighting, the talents of people like Jim Lee or, Los Portacio, or just all the or even Kim Sano, right? People don't realize how much of a trailblazer someone like Kim Sano was, because he paved the way for other East Asian talent to do more and more in the space. And of course, because that became sort of an accepted thing, you had a lot of international artists and creators getting a chance. And obviously, with that, you also had, people like Jim Lee, ethnic Americans having the opportunity. It really is about talent at the end of the day, and that's what I appreciate about the comic book publishing space. They're very inclusive. They give people opportunities, and you have, again, if you have the talent, they're gonna utilize you or maybe take advantage of you, however you want to look at it. But yeah, it was those kinds of histories we need to talk about and focus on and recognize, right? Because we're in a space now, a very inclusive creative space to this day, um, because of opportunities like that. And we want to keep it that way. We want to keep comic books as international, as inclusive of every community, every identity, so that you have really a broad coalition of voices guiding stories in comic books. So yeah, I just again I didn't want to run out of hours on StreamYard, but now it looks to be kind of like a moot point. If I can share my screen and all that, I might just wean myself off of StreamYard and just stick with this format because this seems to be a pretty good way to. I can still share my webcam here. Let me just see if I can do that. Yeah, looks like I can do that, and I can comics, so it's all good. Looks like we're just gonna. The camera's even kind of more. Seems like the lighting and the camera and the sound. I don't know about the sound. I'll have to check the sound um, on the back end here, see if it sounds better. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like um, this is very similar to what we're used to moving forward. I might not need to use StreamYard at all. I think one area where I may be limited is having other people on the channel, and that's maybe where I'll kind of lean on StreamYard, to just invite other people. But um, yeah, I don't think there's a. I don't know. Maybe someone can join. I just don't see. No, I don't think I can have other people join me. So that's one limitation here, I think. But yeah, before we get started, let me. I really thought I wasn't going to go on and read the book, but let me get my book here, and then we'll get started here. All right, so here's uh here's the book really quick. Action Comics 689, and we kind of get a big reveal here, and this is definitely a pivotal issue here that kind of sets up. Um, it really moves quickly through the next series of issues toward our eventual uh, climactic moment. So, what's up, fanboy? I want to give a big shout out. You guys got to go check out Paul in the 619's channel. He just posted a video interviewing Fanboy Prime, and it was a great time. There were several moments in that video where I just laughed out loud. So, um, and they talk a lot about you know their passions there. They share their passion for wrestling, which I grew up watching wrestling. I'm not, I obviously as a kid enjoyed wrestling, but I kind of grew out of it, and I wasn't really watching wrestling past the Hulk Hogan, uh, Macho Man days. And but yeah, they had a great time. They're talking sports, uh, life. They're talking wrestling, and of course comic books. And I just I, I really appreciate uh, Fanboy's take on Superman. Um, couldn't have said it better myself as a Superman collector and Superman fan. Um, and yeah, uh, it was it was really good. It was a good interview. So go check that out, um, and go follow both of those channels, Fanboy Prime and Paul in the 619. Um, Paul, we and my apologies. This is sort of my first time getting to know Paul's channel and what he's been doing. I kind of follow him on Instagram, but I haven't been really following him on YouTube, until recently. And I gotta say, like, I've got a new favorite channel to. Yeah, he's pretty. He's a chill dude, and you know, he's kind of into a lot of the things we're both into, right? Just like uh, we're talking about the Sonics and the Chargers, how those two teams when they left the community, it really left a hole, um, like a dead space. And his hatred for the Chargers owner, I understand that because I have a hatred for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, the ownership group there that took the Sonics away, absolutely hate them, and I still hate Howard Schultz, the Starbucks CEO, to this day for selling the team to that group and really setting the stage for the team to depart. So um, yeah, Starbucks is now just leaving the state altogether because of tax reasons. How we just passed like a millionaire's tax here in the state, and Howard Schultz just straight up, I'm moving to Florida, and now Starbucks is apparently going to move their headquarters to a tax-friendly state. Just typical of don't buy Starbucks is essentially the message I'm trying to send you. Like, there's plenty of better coffee. Uh, Starbucks is not even a Seattle institution. It's like we had good coffee before Starbucks, and we'll continue to have good coffee after. Cafe Ladro here is overtaken among the locals as the spot to go. So Seattle Starbucks has just been slowly dying a slow death. Even back in the '90s, like no one drank Starbucks in the '90s either. It was really all the dumb foreigners that would buy Starbucks. Um, but I digress. Yeah, yeah, it was bittersweet. I just a lot of painful. But they're I we have hope. We have hope that they're coming back. We have hope that Seattle's going to have a team soon. The Sonics will return. So good. Okay, did you unbox the book? All right, did you unbox the book yet? Did I miss the unboxing? I'll rewatch it. As long as you're happy with the book, man. All right, all right. Sounds like you're happy with the book, though. That's good. That is good. I do want to see it. um, so did you live stream it? I'll go watch the video on the rerun. It's a beautiful book. I mean, as long if it's like what you say it is, if it's in like the grade you say it's in, I mean that's just going to be a beautiful book. Um, just given its era, given its yeah, like double digit Superman. That's pretty wild. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out then. All right, but yeah, again, we're gonna read this book here, and like I said, it kind of gets rolling here, and there's um, a lot of thing, a lot of questions that don't necessarily get answered in this issue, but start to we start to get a clearer picture of how all of these like individual stories are coalescing, and this is really sort of like the again the just the arc that builds toward the finale. And one thing I want to point out is, this I've recently picked up some really nice signed books by Jackson Geiss. Um, and and what I want to point out for when we read this book is to really um, really notice the incredible um, artwork of Jackson Geiss, because I feel like he's an artist that kind of, he was a major creator to this entire. I mean, it was a collaborative effort, right? There's just no one um, creator that you can attribute to this great, um, really kind of like epic uh, story arc. It's a an arc that spans nearly almost over 2 years. And what's interesting to note about all the people that contributed and collaborated to bring these pages to fans is that there's really no um, one name or one figure that really stood out. Now, some people will obviously point to Dan Jurgens, um, that he was kind of like, he had the big Death of Superman issue. He had a lot of flashy covers in this run, and so a lot of people kind of, point out Jurgens' work as, sort of the standout um, piece for like Superman, um, which is, as much as I don't want to take anything away from Jurgens, but it to make that kind of erroneous statement, I think takes away from the talents of the others that were working, especially Jackson Geiss. I mean, we're going to take a look here again at his artwork, and I hope you'll just appreciate um, who this artist was, and what he brought to this again this epic tale here. So let's get going and get into it. We're going to start reading Action 689. Who watches the Supermen? Let me get this going here. Hang on. Pull it together, Tana. We're on the air live. Just tell him how you feel. Terrible. This is terrible. It's like a scene from some disaster movie. But this is no movie. This is a real disaster. Horribly real. For those of you just joining us, the Barker Line end of Metropolis's famed Hobbs Neck Bridge has collapsed. The bridge's northernmost moorings were leveled in a violent explosion triggered by a masked terrorist calling himself the Stinger. Good work, kiddo. Now tell him who you are. This is Tana Moon, GBS News, live at the scene where, just moments ago, the youthful new incarnation of Superman fought valiantly against the terrorist. There have been no signs of either the Stinger or the young heroes who... No, wait. There's movement. Yes, both Superman and Supergirl appear to be alive. Superman, can you hear me? But despite assistance from Warp International Supergirl, he was unable to prevent the terrible destruction you see on your screens. The death toll is as yet unknown, but this reporter saw several vehicles plunge into the harbor. It happened. It all happened. Okay. He's apparently lost the communications head supplied him. Oh no, that car. Can he possibly reach it in time? Gotcha. Oh no, there's another. It's okay. I'll stop it. Shtoom. Nice work, Super Babe. You've got moves I didn't even suspect. How'd you do that trick with the truck? I'm psychokinetic, but we can discuss that later. Right now, there may be more people who need our help. How can someone who looks so hot think so fast? Super Babe, honestly. He's basically a sweet boy, but so distractible. Oh my god. Whoa, Demolition City. Thank heavens there are some survivors who got here just in time. Something like this, make sure you believe in sure must sure make you a believer in airbags. Wow, still kicking after a tumble like that, huh? This debacle makes news reenactments look like a quest for pure truth. I can't prove anything, but I know that Vincent Edge had a hand in setting up that fight between Superman and Stinger. Now a bridge is down, people are dead, and for what? Tana, you're on. Say something. Emergency medical technicians have arrived on the scene and are even now working to stabilize the victims of this terrible catastrophe. Unit 12, we're needed. This takes priority. But I was ordered to monitor. For a few lousy rating points so Edge can charge more for commercials on his WGBS news, I've gotten Superman and myself all mixed up in this mess. What'll I do now? The Master's regeneration matrix is experiencing energy overload. Shut down all solar receptors. Done, but the overload effect continues. There must be a release. Agreed. There is no other choice. Modulate the support field. Lower the matrix to release position. Done, but but readings remain well off scale. This is without precedent. Everything that has occurred since the Master's discorporation has been without precedent. We were programmed to improvise under uncertain situations. We must proceed with caution and be ready to alert, alert. The matrix has ruptured. Prepare to receive occupant. Shh. Ugh. Who? Who's there? He awakes. Dim the lighting. His eyes may yet be sensitive. Master, Master, how do you feel? Feel a little fuzzy-headed. Some disorientation is to be expected. Do you recognize us? Do you know where you are? You're the fortress robots. Then I'm in the Antarctic, in the underground hideaway. Correct. Master, you seem unsteady on your feet. This is to be expected following such a rude awakening. Allow us to seat you. Ah, all right. Is there anything else you require? Any other way in which we may be of service? Yes, you can tell me what's been going on. At once, sir. Unit 12? Soon. And as per previous orders, I have been monitoring all world news transmissions and compiled data on any and all individuals operating under the name of Superman and or utilizing the S-Shield in their activities. There has been much speculation on the part of commentators. Save that for later, Unit 12. Show me what's going on right now. Yes, sir. At this moment, the youngest of the Supermen and Team Luthor's Supergirl have wrapped up rescue operations at the site of a Metropolis bridge collapse. Also in that city, cultists who worship Superman as a living god continue to rally in Centennial Park. The emergence of 4 Supermen has caused much confusion and has already led to one major schism in the group. City authorities feel that this may lead to violence. This is not good. This is not good at all. Unit 12, give me a rundown on all Supermen. Yes, sir. Cyborg Superman claims partial amnesia. His biology show evidence of Kryptonian technology. He recently saved the US president from a Karaki assassination attempt. Some pundits have called the youngest pretender Superboy. He objects vehemently to that name. He claims to be a clone of Superman and has maintained a high profile thanks to Galaxy Broadcasting. Little is known about the so-called Man of Steel. He is currently believed to be a man in an armored suit and not a robot. Drawing the greatest negative response from Metropolis police is stop. That isn't necessary. I've heard more than enough. Things have gotten completely out of hand. The name of Superman will not be turned into a franchise. Something must be done about this. Continue your monitoring unit. Check every source you can find. I want more information. Yes, sir. I've got to get to Metropolis as soon as possible. A bridge not far, our coverage of the collapse of the Hobbs Neck Bridge now continues with GPS Special Correspondent Tana Moon. The last of the bodies have been recovered. In all, 12 people lost their lives. A tragedy by anyone's reckoning, but it could have been much worse. Quick work by Superman and Supergirl is credited with saving the lives of 27 people and securing the bridge from further damage. Meanwhile, serious questions remain about the architect of this disaster. So there's no sign of the Stinger character. None. I'd hope that part of the bridge fell on him like it did on us, but it looks like he got away. That mass creep better enjoy his freedom while he can, because it won't last. I'm gonna nail him. You can count on it. This is personal. There's no need to play the lone wolf, Superman. I have a score to settle with Mr. Stinger as well. Let's yank his sting together. What do you say? I don't know, babe. Don't get me wrong, it's a kick working with you, but some things I gotta do myself. It's my rep on the line here, you know? Hey, you don't have to worry about that. You're going to be joining the Team Luthor family, remember? You can't ask for a better rep than that. And with LexCorp's resources, we'll track down the Stinger in no time. Lex has the contracts already in waiting. Yeah. Yeah, right. Listen, about those contracts. He what? Why is that miserable double-dealing Lex? Please, what's done is done. I know you're disappointed. Disappointed? I've been double-crossed. That bloody whelp ate my food. He cozied up to you. Damn his eyes. He gave his word that he'd come to work for LexCorp. And now you tell me that he's signed an exclusive contract with some third-rate low-class schlockmeister? The young Superman today announced that he'd engaged the services of Rex Leach as his personal business manager. Look, it's right there on my own bleeding station. And you say what's done is done? Bloody hell, you're as daft as he is. Hey, I'm not happy about it either, but you shouldn't take it so personally. I don't think he meant to slight you. He's just a very impulsive young man. He's a young fool, yes. But he's a very very young fool. Lex, what are you getting at? He's a clone, love. Chronologically no older than an infant. His signature might not be binding at all. And even if it is, I can still tie him up in the courts for years, even decades if I have to. I hate when he gets this way. Pearl, get my legal staff up here on the double. Kansas, 15 miles south of Smallville. Why, that miserable two-bit. Jonathan, please don't get yourself so upset. You know it's not good for your heart. I know, Martha, but it just makes my blood boil when I see these imposters on TV. They're no more our boy than I am the King of England. Makes me want to go on TV myself. I'd like to tell the whole blasted world that Clark Kent is the real Superman, the only Superman. I wish we could too, dear, but you know that we can't. It isn't so much for us, but for Lois and Lana and the rest of Clark's friends who would be put in danger. I know. But just look at this. There's something else that frosts my britches. It's Matrix or Supergirl, whatever she calls herself these days. First, she took up the little boy. Now she's making cow eyes at this young twerp. I know she didn't stay with us long, but I'd hoped we'd brought her up better than that. She was practically a blank slate when Clark brought her to us. So innocent. Yes, she was such a sweet child. It broke my heart when she ran off. Maybe it was my fault, Martha. Maybe I just didn't know how to raise a daughter. You just hush now, Jonathan Kent. We did the best we could in the time we had her. It's just an uncertain world out there. Waste all the ammo you want. I won't get a scratch. But I am getting annoyed, so tell me, where do you punks get the heavy artillery? Don't make me ask twice. You won't, sucker. What in the... Yes, Superman. Yes, your other would-be assailants scatter like roaches they are. No matter, I've used their weapons firing mechanisms. They can be rounded up later, but now we two must talk. There's much to discuss. I'll say there is. You look as though you could be the real McCoy. You even sound a little bit like him, but what is your point? You just killed that man. You could have disarmed him, but instead you fried him. My point, look, mister, I met Superman once. As a matter of fact, he saved my life. What do you call what I just did? At the very least, I call it manslaughter. For God's sake, man, look at me and look at this armor. I wasn't in any real danger, and even if I had been, the real Superman wouldn't have killed that punk. He never countered the threat of violence with unnecessary force. You may look the part, but you're just a cold-blooded fraud. Fraud? You ungrateful armor-plated freak. Psh. So, how are you holding up, I mean? Geez, I'm not doing a very good job of this, Lois. It's just that I've been worried about you, but things have been so crazy. It's all right, Jimmy. The whole world's gone a little crazy, but I'm getting by, about as well as I can be expected, given the circumstances. Yeah, it's rough, bad enough that we lost Superman, but Mr. Clark Kent, this must be killing her. After all these weeks, he can't possibly still be alive. If only they'd find his body, at least then we'd know. Well, if you ever want to, talk about it. I know, Jim. Thanks. I wish I could tell you. That's the maddening thing. The public thinks that Clark was buried in all the destruction that Doomsday caused. I know that he wasn't. But that's about all I know. One of the Supermen, the one with the visor, said that Clark was gone. I'm still not sure what he meant by that. There was something about him. Could Clark's personality somehow be still alive? Maybe buried deep inside him? And what about the other? What was that? Thump. Sounded like a train wreck. Let's check it out. Judgment Day, it's Judgment Day. Got your camera? Right here. Make your peace. The hour is at hand. Hey, what's up? The great Superman is risen and walks among us. Even now he does a battle with an impostor, an armored son of Satan. Over on Larson Boulevard. Ka-toom. Could one fraud so easily defeat another? I think not. Fool. I could have eliminated that entire gang, but I did not. Their lives were base, meaningless. Yet I was merciful. Remember that. Remember, too, that I was merciful to you as well. Superman, Superman. Eh? Ah, hear me, good people. I am indeed the one true Superman, and I will suffer no pretenders to my good name. I'm not pretending. What? Psh. I mean to seriously kick your butt. The one true Superman, huh? The man I admired never spoke like that. The way I see it, you're the pretender. Just a little tin god with a cape, or maybe a metahuman with messianic delusions. The only delusions are yours. Psh. Yes, destroy the Iron Demon. No, the true demon is he who hides his eyes. Smite him with your holy hammer, Superman. Both of you, stop. What? You heard me. Settle down, you two, and listen to me. I hope she knows what she's doing. Lois? Look at you. You're brawling like playground bullies, battling for turf. Ms. Lane, I initially sought only to stop this impostor from using my insignia. Your insignia? The jury's still out on that one, but regardless, you've both dishonored Superman's name with this senseless fight. You could have hurt or killed someone. Would you want that stain on your insignia? You're absolutely right. I didn't seek this fight, and I didn't throw the first punch, but I gave as good as I got, almost without thinking about it. Dear Lord, look at the damage we've caused. The woman's eyes haunt me. It is as though she were trying to look into my soul. I also regret my actions. They were perhaps ill-advised. I will make amends for any damage we have caused. We both will. You know I never laid claim to the name of Superman. I wear this shield and this cape to honor the man who gave me back my life. Can you honestly look me in the eyes and say that you find anything wrong in that? Put in those terms, no, I cannot. I am sorry. Wow, maybe this guy is Superman. Lois seemed to get through to him something in him. Hold it right there. Don't any of you move. Now what? I beg your pardon, but if you're with the police, I'd like to see a badge. No, I'm no cop. I'm a process server. This is to give notice that you gents are in violation of trademark held by Rex Leach Enterprises. Mr. Leach's client, and his client alone, has rights to the Superman name and insignia. You are to cease and desist from all such immediate usage immediately. Got that? No. Got this? Hey, my papers! Shh. The fate of your papers is the least of your worries. Oh God, you wouldn't help. Ah, fry the money changer. Hold it. I don't know what this is all about, but it should be settled in the courts, not in the streets. No, his insolence demands punishment. Unhand me. Punishment now. Unhand me. Not until you cool down. I don't know how long I can hold him. Better get him out of here before someone gets hurt. So much for my peacemaking efforts. Where will this all end? What does it take to make you listen to reason? You can't go around frying people who cross you. No one tells me what I can or cannot do. I am Superman. Sorry, the high and mighty routine doesn't impress me. No? Then perhaps this will. Hey, what are you doing? Merely adding my power of flight to yours. We shall see how high and how fast we can go. No, stop, you idiot. Might as well argue with the wind. Suit's holding up so far, but at this rate we'll soon hit escape velocity. And this armor wasn't designed for space travel. Hate to turn him loose while he's so out of control, but I don't have much choice. Got to save myself if I can. No sense in both of us dying. Out in space. Report. A band of asteroids looms before us, Exalted One. There could be some delay. I will brook no delays. Eliminate all obstacles. As you command, my lord. Firing forward, disruptors. Soon I shall, at long last, have my revenge upon the Kryptonian. From what I have learned, his love for this planet, this Earth, was even greater than that for his native Krypton. Poor little world, your doom was sealed the day that Superman refused my imperial order. I shall grind your champion's bones beneath my heel and claim the Earth as my prize. Come on, John Henry, get it together. If I don't slow things down soon, this ride will get a lot hotter than I can handle. Got to right myself and use the jets to decelerate. Shh, Flang, hey! You have not yet fully paid for your folly, Man of Steel. Pting, my folly, have you completely lost it? Let go of me before we... What was that a bomb? No, something fell. Looked like people. Lord, no one could survive that. No one? Find out next week in Man of Steel 24. right. Well, there you go. I'm liking this YouTube thing. Yeah, this is not bad. Outside of the people joining the channel for just streaming by myself, this is kind of like all I need. Got the multicam and the shared screen going here, so everything's good. Um, one thing I did want to, kind of mention or talk about is um, I've been picking up books as of late, and I'm also, I don't know, I've just kind of been asking myself the question, like, this has been just ongoing. It's not like I just suddenly came to the realization. It's like this has been an ongoing kind of internal dialogue about the collection. And I kind of need to find, because I've given myself like parameters. I want to keep the collection within a certain space. But we soon got beyond that. And yeah, I just feel like the way I'm collecting right now, it's just there's no rhyme or reason to it other than the stuff I really like. Um, like yeah, it's like the Superman collection has grown. If we're talking like Superman, Action Comics, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, uh, Adventure Comics, all the Superman related stuff, that part of the collection is, it's like close to 500 books, maybe more. We've got like 400 Jim Lee books and counting, 400 plus Jim Lee books and counting. And those are the two main silos right there. But then we have, on top of that, things like Wonder Woman, things like Justice League, things like the comics I grew up reading and collecting that are, like G.I. Joe 21, the silent issue, all the sort of keys related to the stuff I read, Byrne, Claremont, X-Men, all these things. And then, of course, just the artists and covers I like, So, I mean, given that, right? It's like I have all these like things I like and things I like to when I'm out on the hunt. I don't like to limit myself. It's like I just picked up, I mean, case in point. Um, I just picked up this book, and you're probably asking yourself, like, why the hell did you pick up Bart Simpson? First off, I saw this book. I saw that it was $5, and I just all I just remember myself a while back, because I knew about this book. I knew, like, I think everybody kind of loves The Simpsons, and if you have an opportunity to pick up the first appearance of The Simpsons in comic books, you got to realize the Simpsons were introduced through comics, like the comic strips of Groening. Um, so it's not like they're new to comics in comic books. It's like they've been in comics, but then they became this more animated phenomenon, right? The series became just massively popular um, right around the late 80s. And then heading into the 90s, it was like well into its like third, fourth season. And of course, now we're like, like it's almost been 40 years, right? We're heading toward 40 years of The Simpsons, which is insane. And all the voice actors uh, are still at it um, after all these years. It's been incredible family that we followed, uh, and yeah, it's just as entertaining and as funny as it's just always been, sort of consistent as it's just a commentary on some of the ridiculous um, things that go on in our society. Um, but yeah, it's a funny commentary on um, just mocking all the ridiculousness that we see um, in all facets, entertainment, uh, politics, current events, those kinds of things. Um, so yeah, when I saw this book, I was just like, it went counter to, like, I'm focused on Superman. I'm focused on all these other things. I can't add this book. But then at the same time, like, knowing what this is, I just couldn't leave it there for $5 as well. And this isn't just the. I'm hoping everybody sees the comments. Can I share the comments here? What's going on here? Guess I have to. I guess this is just going on my channel, right? That's what I'm hoping. Can't I just highlight comments though? I guess I can't do that. Wait, let me try this one. Is that working? No, it's just pinning it. All right, well, gonna have to figure that out. I guess it's just gonna stream on my. I wish I could just. Can I? I'm just wondering why this doesn't pop up here. Oops. Up. No, I didn't want to do that. You can moderate it. There we go. All right. Well, I gotta go figure that little detail out. But yeah, I think we all struggle with this as collectors. It's I'm not the only one, right? Because unless you're really disciplined at, like, keeping your collection to a minimum, you're gonna hit that bar really quick. Um, you know, it's really easy to, like, pick up comics and just have boxes and boxes fill up. Um, what's harder is to kind of really define what you want as part of your collection and what's you're willing to bring in for a little bit, but then maybe sell or trade up to get better stuff. And yeah, this is just a cool book. It's a cool book, and for now, I'm just enjoying it. Um, but this has a newsstand. It's not the newsstand edition. What this is it's technically like a newsstand. Um, the direct edition came in a poly bag with like a poster, kind of like the '90s comics of the time were coming in. Like it came with like a nice poster. Came with might have come with a trading card. I don't know. I don't think a trading card, but it was poly bagged, and kind of sold, at your local LCS, and pretty, cool edition here, like in terms of the cover art and everything. Um, but then this book, you'll notice like this is a standard comic book size, and then if I compare, I don't know if you can see, it's just slightly, you can't see it. It's slightly smaller. It's barely, like, it's negligible. You probably can't see it, but you can just see that it's slightly smaller than your standard size comic book. And that's because this was a promo comic that came in like a package. You know how they have the Butterfinger. This was the thing. Like Bart famously was the spokesperson for Butterfinger. And he would, his catchphrase was, "Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger." And the orange hair, like the supposed yellow orange hair kind of thing, was to match the center of a Butterfinger and all that. I don't know. The packaging at least matched his skin color and all that. But yeah, this actually came as a promotional comic in a package, a 6-pack of Butterfingers, which you never see. I mean, I know we recently had a dog food Superman comic coming in the dog food. We've had comics and toys. We've had comics, I don't know, like through at your dentist's office, like it came with like a dental visit or like toothpaste or something. But um, with actual Butterfinger candy bars, I think this is like the first. Again, I'm not a historian, but I would imagine it's the first comic book that's been packaged with Butterfinger, and who better to can sell Butterfingers than Bart Simpson here. So that's what makes this book really just cool and out of the ordinary. And I don't, I rarely see this book outside of like cons. Like if you go to the con, you'll see like graded copies of this book, or just this book kind of selling as like a special piece, usually at a higher price. And it's almost always the direct edition, not the promo. I mean, sometimes you do see the promo edition, but I can't remember. I can't distinguish whether it was promo, the ones I've seen out in the wild. But yeah, when I came across this book, I was just like, first off, I was kind of like, man, I actually have it in front of me now, and that's really cool. And it's one thing, like you're digging and you come across this book and you're just like, whoa, yeah, I know this book. And um the fact that this is the promo version of it, the sort of the more variant, kind of rare version of the comic book, especially in higher grades, because again, it was in a package of Butterfingers, so this thing was probably getting manhandled at the grocery counter. But yeah, we got a nice VF copy here. There's no major creasing, just a couple spine ticks here on the edge there. So really, really great condition here for a rare, again, first full appearance of Simpsons in comic books. their own comic. Um, and great cover too. So yeah, it's a cover by Matt Groening too. It's just crazy. It's like he actually did the art for this. I know a lot of the subsequent Simpsons stuff. You kind of have other artists that mimic and can copy the Simpsons style, but this is actually Matt Groening artwork on the comic book cover as well. That makes it actually just really cooler. So, I really need to take inventory. And this is going to be, I know I've been doing it kind of like there was the whole question of whether I would be going back to Japan or not. That kind of talk has kind of died down as of late in our household. I think we are kind of leaning toward Japan. Obviously, exit strategy. We need to kind of have the exit strategy in place in case something unexpected were to go down, and we kind of have it in place. But there's so many things we gotta do. Um, we've kind of just it's a little daunting to just like pull the trigger on it, right? It's just kind of has to be a situation where like, okay, we really got to leave now. There's really no option, and then we get the ball rolling on that. But even that process will take months and potentially up to a year just to like put the house up for sale and do all these things related to leaving. So again, the talks died down. We're not really focused on moving forward with any of that stuff now. It seems like, okay, looks like we're just gonna bite the bullet and try to really focus on um, being here, being present here for our son, and our son to just, this is our base, home base. We're not planning to move or do anything right now. We do have the exit strategy in the back of our mind, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to stay. And that's really helped at least alleviate the pressure to liquidate and shrink or consolidate the collection and all that. I still want to keep the collection kind of right where it is. And I've built up a nice trade box here. I don't know if you can see it, but this sort of long box of comics, semi-long box of comics, that's all trade books. And yeah, right. I figure it's a good way to, in the event of a trade, like let's say someone has like, they just have a lot of bronze or silver age Superman they picked up, they don't want it in their collection, and that's their trade fodder. And hopefully it's a situation where they look at my stuff and be like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And I really don't care if I give away more value or more volume. I mean, I want to give away the volume. I want to give away the volume, but try to get the value in just like a series of books, right? Kind of like the trade I did with Big B. We gave away 200 books for 50 books. That's really kind of what I'm targeting here with this trade box. I don't mind giving up value. I do want to like give them as much of it away for, again, a few books as possible. So that's kind of where I am at with that. But even if I were to just throw that entire box of books out, I still have the same problem. I still have the problem of like, okay, what are we going to downsize or just stop collecting altogether? And I'm starting to come to the realization, albeit a painful one, that this notion of picking up just any and all Superman book, um, which it never was like that. It was more like I kind of limited myself to like it has to be a cool cover, has to be a key book, it has to be maybe a story I've read or is something tangible outside of just being in the run of Superman and Action Comics. So I've been trying to be selective with kind of what I add in terms of the run, but it gets to be like I just picked up like Superboy. I mean, it's a great book. Let me just for those of you that didn't catch it. I just picked up this piece for $6. I mean, it's low grade, but it's got a tear there. Repairable, by the way. Tear like that, can paste it up and almost reseal the tear. Of course, I can't. I don't know. I don't have the materials or stuff, but like someone like Roger with the wheat paste and the touch, the technique could seal that up. It'd be restoration, but who cares that I mean, if you can make this book, if you can repair that tear and not have it be an issue moving forward. I'm sorry, I'm gonna share my screen again so you guys can see this. Um, so just yeah, it's got that issue there. You see the tear, but still a magnificent looking book. You know, given the age of this is from 1957, guys. 1957, 61, issue 61 from Superboy. Fantastic. Yeah, trade or get rid of the box, right? Right, fanboy. Um, and that's the thing. Like, I think collect we as collectors want to do this. The like I have the same issue, right? Like I'm picking up stuff again, great value. That's Bart Simpson for $5. That's really just it should be it's worth more to somebody. It's worth that more than that to me, which is why I picked it up. But what I'm saying is like I'm gonna keep this book first off. It's not part of the trade pile. This book here. Um, I mean, I doubt The Simpsons speaks to people of my dad's generation. I doubt it speaks to people, maybe the Gen Z, but you know the millennials and the Gen Xers, I think, are going to really have the fondness for this book. I can't speak to like previous and subsequent generations, um, because when the voice actors start, once they start knocking off, it's pretty much going to kill the series, I would imagine. Um, so we got to enjoy The Simpsons. and there's a lot to enjoy there. We have what, almost 30 seasons of um, episodes, and I mean, it's just covered everything like sports. Everybody's been on The Simpsons. You're not really famous unless you've had an appearance on The Simpsons, right? So, um, yeah, this is just a cool book. So, you know, um, it really comes down to like I got to do a re-inventory and a re-evaluation of what I want to keep in the collection, and what maybe, and it's not something I need to figure out today or tomorrow or the next day. But again, I'm hoping to go down to Portland with Jens, and we're gonna pick up comic books. I'm gonna have a budget, summer budget, so we're gonna pick up some really cool books. And at the same time, though, I need to also, hopefully, because we're gonna maybe meet with some community members down there, and it really is like go and hunt comics together and also trade. Like we're gonna take a long box or short box, whatever, meet up with guys with the same, with the same kind of. Obviously, we can communicate what each of us wants, but the goal is to kind of hang out together, trade books amongst each other, and just walk away with um, stuff we want, and hopefully everybody gets what they want and gives away stuff they don't want. So, um, and this is another, I think, fun aspect of collecting, and it's really sort of a nice way or a nice out, right? You can continue to pick up books, but over time, hopefully, it's not all just coming in and going out. It's coming in, going out, but with a purpose. Like it's helping to bring additional stuff that you want in. Um, and yeah, again, I kind of want to take an inventory of what I really, at the end of the day, like, again, if we're to leave, if I'm to leave, what would be, and I really look at it as like, what can I carry with me at the end of the day that I'd want to keep in the collection, right? It's just going to be that one box of books. Maybe it's like 200, maybe it's 300, but like a specific number of books that we can carry or manage to just transport with us wherever we go. I might move to Idaho, I might move to like Canada, I don't know. Wherever I go, it's like I have this selection of books that are truly my personal collection. And, I've created lists, I've created sort of a spreadsheet kind of outlining all that. It's well, initially we started with 100 books. It ended up being, I couldn't, I couldn't get it down to 100 books without compromising certain things. And really, what it comes down to at the end of the day, I think, is just going to be a hodgepodge. It's not going to be runs. Okay, I'm letting you know right now. I'm not collecting a run because then I mean, what am I going to do? Just take all the Action Comics and that's it? No. Or take all the Superman in my collection and that's it? No. Um, it will be Superman centric for sure, but it's going to be a hodgepodge of stuff. right now, again, it's not something I'm going to try to do, overnight, but I am starting to um, do the difficult work of picking favorites out of your kids. It really feels like that's like picking your favorite kids. You know, you have like thousands of children. Now you got to pick your favorite children amongst all the children that you have. Um, and I jokingly put it that way, to just to emphasize kind of the difficulty in this exercise. Like, how do you, like you've got a 2,000 book collection that you continue to want to just continue growing, right? Just like, kind of like, if I had all the resources, all the space in the world, it would just encompass as much stuff that I like as we can. But that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid that fate, because I don't want to leave my wife with just a bunch of books she's just going to end up dumping, or my kid for that matter. Um, it really does need to be like, hey, we're working toward a goal or a purpose, and like, I really like the thought of like building a collection, right? And then trading it for maybe a bigger book that we couldn't have afforded just in one shot, but through the magic of somebody who has a big book wants the value of maybe a collection. There's a lot of sellers out there. I could see a good number of sellers being like, yeah, I'll give you this big book for that box of books, right? I could just see that being a real possibility, as long as the value is obviously, I don't mind giving up value, but as long as it's somewhat equivalent and I'm not losing too much, I'm all for that, right? Like, right now, if someone wanted to trade me a golden age book for that box of books, I'd do it in a heartbeat. um that it's not even I mean, it could be just, like tears and like rips and like big chunks missing out of the book. But if it's like, you can kind of make out the cover and the interiors there on a Golden Age Superman book, you got a semi long box of books waiting for you if you're down to do something like that. Hey, what's up, Kenneth? I do see all you guys. Jens, hey, what's up? Um, so yeah, it's like, I think, again, it's a goal. It's a goal. Um, and for those of you who kind of, I don't know, if you're um, in a state collecting state where you don't think about that, you're just like, hey, I've got the space. I'll just add. We're doing long boxes, we're doing short boxes, but I'll just continue to add, stack, and have a collection. Um, that's fine. You know, by all means, do that, because I know a lot of collectors I envy who take that approach and have the collection, right? They finish runs. They collect. They're not limited to, hey, I just got to collect this. I got to collect that. They just pick up the stuff they like, and it just grows. But I need to kind of, that's not what I want to do, and I need to kind of figure out where I need to make the compromises, where I need to, or how I need to pivot what I have to, again, consolidate and get more of the stuff I want. And it's just an exercise. You know, it's got to be done here and there. Um, Nothing's going to be done in a day or a week. We just have the intent. We take advantage of those opportunities, and it really is about like capturing value at the end of the day. So again, you know, this will book will remain in my collection. It's my new favorite book, but down the road, there may be an opportunity to trade the book for something more focused on in terms of who I am as a collector. This is sort of just more like a generic kind of cool thing I want. It's not who I am as a comic book collector. Um, I don't know if that makes sense, but like this is more who I am as a collector. This less so, but this could somehow someday turn into something like this, and that's kind of like that's the exercise, right? You pick up something like this, $5 again for the promo Butterfinger insert version of The Simpsons, first appearance of The Simpsons. This is a big book, and you don't miss out on your opportunities to pick up books like this just for the value's sake. And then hopefully this down the road can turn into something like this, like a higher grade copy of this, obviously, but something equivalent to this, right? Which is like early Silver Age Superboy. So that's a lot there. It's a lot for me to unpack. It's maybe a lot for you guys to unpack, but I think we all as collectors do this sort of calculus in our head when we're budgeting or when we're targeting books. I will say this: they're going to reprint Adam Hughes, the Supergirl cover. This is where she's like kind of riding this like asteroid. Beautiful Adam Hughes cover. That's coming out as a reprint, foil reprint, virgin foil reprint this summer. I'm getting that book no matter what. I'm gonna pay $7.99 and get that book because it's just a beautiful book. And that once it enters my collection, it's gonna be one of the books that just stays. I mean, so this is the dilemma, right? Um, you're gonna have things you bring in that you love, that you absolutely love, and you think, "Oh, I'm gonna keep this thing forever," and then for whatever reasons, something you know newer and shinier is going to come along, and you're eventually going to be like, well, yeah, it was nice owning you, and Bart was nice. This is Bartman, not Batman, fanboy. Let's not hate on Bartman. um but there's just going to be a time where you like ready to give up the book if it's going to contribute to adding something else into the collection. So yeah, Jens knows what I'm talking about. Jens did it with the video games. He just got to a point where he's like, you know what? I don't need all these games. I really only like enjoy playing like a handful of the games. And he was able to, he was lucky. He was able to liquidate and sell most of the collection or get stuff of value for it. So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm just trying to figure out at the end of the day what those books are going to be, because it's pretty just like I don't have a good idea like what I'll keep and what to keep essentially, right? Because like even the Jim Lee collection, it's like it got to 400 books, And now I'm just like, do I keep the entire collection? I haven't traded away one Jim Lee book, first off, of the 400. None of it is gone. But I've stopped. I shouldn't say that. I still continue to pick up Jim Lee books. I've stopped picking up Jim Lee books at the pace and rate I used to. And I feel like I've kind of reached my limit with the Jim Lee collection. I don't feel I need to grow it. It's pretty impressive with what I have as is. I might want to complete specific runs. I mean, I've pretty much completed most of the runs, but there's just a few outstanding runs where I'm missing a few issues here and there. But I really don't feel compelled to follow through on stuff like that. Um, and again, at the same time, I haven't traded or sold or given away any Jim Lee books. It's still, that's the collection, and it's kind of like, you know, a part of me is like, that's kind of like just, I don't know, maybe I'll just trade or give away the whole thing for something. There's a Jim Lee collector out there and just like wants to buy the entire 400 book Jim Lee collection. That's something we could part with if we're going to get some big, big book in return. But yeah, Jim Lee's kind of in that space where if I were to just take a box of books, I don't think any of that would, I mean, large parts of it would. Obviously, there's a bunch of Jim Lee books that would be in the top parts of my collection, but that Superman Action Comics, I used to think of that collecting goal as like untouchable, right? This is who we are. This is what I am. But now it's like I got to detach myself from that thinking and really be a little bit more malleable, right? Like at the end of the day, Action Comics won, number one, right? Just owning that is the end all of collecting, right? So if we're really working toward that goal, maybe it helps to kind of like build it out in sections and work toward bigger books, work toward higher grade books, and always be mindful of when the collection gets too big, when to kind of purge and do all that. So that is kind of where I'm at. And that's what I wanted to cover here on this Monday evening, right before bed, with all of you. Um, yeah, yeah, no, I'm not. Is yeah, I'm gonna. There's not gonna be one trade where there's not gonna be a little bit of regret or remorse, but I feel like in our hobby, outside of a few handful of books, if you really want a book, you can go out and get the book, right? Outside of a handful of like maybe a signed book or something, I don't think I'd ever give away a signed book that I intended to keep. A lot of the, if I'm to like whittle down my collection to 300 books or so, a lot of those books would be the signed books I have, a lot of them. And that's the other thing, like, kind of value and rarity also play a little part in what we decide to keep, or what it really has to like it really has to book that speaks to the heart. And this is why I'm saying it's completely like, once I once I put the effort and work into like just simply eliminate, right? You're gone, you stay, do that whole um, exercise, which I haven't started. I haven't actually gone through and the painstaking process of like setting aside a box and just putting books that deserve to stay and the ones that we could see, 5 or 10 years from now, not being part of the collection. And, you know, again, I think it comes to like disassociating this desire to have runs, disassociating with trying to have too much um, inclusivity of a specific creator or, like artist. Like, I have a lot of Neil Adams books, I have a lot of Jim Lee books. Um, I've got to disassociate picking up the volume as being a good collector of that, like representing myself. I'm a Neil Adams collector, but I don't have to have every Neil Adams book. I don't have to have, that's just like a fool's errand, right? So it really comes down to like having a handful of a hodgepodge of stuff, which collectively defines who I am as a collector. Now, it's not going to be any one definitive thing. It's not going to be any one kind of like, at the end of the day, they say um, like a completed collecting goal, right? There's not going to be one super completed collecting goal. But I think what I'll be left with is a bunch of meaningful books, a bunch of memories of how we pick certain things up, or you know, there'll be meaningful books um, from a like a reading perspective, or just how we found it perspective, or just what it means to me perspective. So um, yeah, yeah. I hope I made sense. I just kind of like, I just feel like I'm trying to talk myself into, or talk myself out of, or talk myself into um, pivoting sometimes. Um, I don't want to call it a pivot, but it definitely needs to be different. Because if I'm continuing along this path, nothing, my collection's just gonna just rip apart at the seams, right? And so I do need to compromise. And a lot of the compromise is just like, again, letting go of the completionist. Like, we got to keep everything together. We got to do that completionist mindset, and just being like, we're working toward a goal of really having a stellar representative collection. And I feel like I have that already. So it's not like I'm not having to do a lot of stretch there. If I were to just like call it a retirement from comic book collecting today, I'm proud of my collection. I love my collection. It's already like a stellar selection of those books. But how do we continue to, add to this like manage it to where we have the same volume, but we're maybe improving the quality and the type of books we have in the collection. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's like I have this budget, I'm gonna pick up books this summer, but at the same time, you know, the exercise of how to manage my inventory to help toward those some of those collecting goals is something I need to figure out. And I haven't figured it out yet. I just see a bunch of books behind me. And, but no, you know, again, eyes on the prize. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So hope that's helpful to you guys. Just my internal thought process. That's something you guys maybe think about or deal with. Hopefully, it's not like, you know, out of left field, but I really feel like it's important to first off know what you like, know what you want to collect, and have real like specific collecting goals. And right now, I've maxed out on what I wanted to do with the collection. Really, it's like, I mean, not in terms of what we wanted to add, but in terms of the number of books, the space with which I have, and the targeted pickup. You know, we've been very focused on Jim Lee, been very focused on Neil Adams, been very focused on the older Superman books that we wanted to kind of target. And I just feel like we're there. We're kind of there with those goals now. And now we got to pivot to where we can take what we've done and still work toward maybe loftier goals that incorporate trade, incorporate maybe selling some of the books, but incorporate converting a lot of this inventory that we've amassed toward, you know, getting additional books that we feel is like necessary for the collection moving forward. So, yeah. Now, if you're watching this video and you feel like, dude, I hear you, you know, I'm kind of wanting to do the same thing, have the same issues, or I have the same problems. I have a bunch of books I've picked up. Now I'm not so keen on them. I want to trade them. I want to get what I can for them. Hit me up, you know. Obviously, if you're in my area, it helps more because we can close proximity trade. So if you're in Washington State, or if you're in Portland, Oregon, because we're going down there this summer, just make a comment. Hey, dude, I'm here. I'd love to trade books with you. Maybe we could. I've done trades in the mail as well. It's harder to do with mail because there's postage and whatnot. But if you're really, you know, giving up a lot of stuff for the stuff I want, I shouldn't say a lot of stuff, but you know, if you want a lot of stuff for a few of the Superman books or things that I'm looking for, I'm always up to do that. So, yes, if you have Silver Age, Bronze Age, Superman related books in your collection that are just there for whatever reasons, you don't, you know, maybe you picked up a collection and it's just there. It's not something you want, but you want to see what you can get for them for, you know, stuff that you like. Yeah, hit me up. I still have a lot of like, you know, Marvel type stuff from copper to, you know, modern comic books. I have a lot of stuff Jim Lee related. If you like Jim Lee, I'm definitely open to trading Jim Lee stuff for more Superman stuff. Um, I'm also open to trading some of this Silver Age stuff for, better Silver Age stuff. So if you just want to like collect as a Silver Age, like keep it in the Silver Age stuff, there's Silver Age stuff I'll give up for other Silver Age stuff. So just having a dialogue and figuring out what's workable. Just message me here either in the comments or here in the live chat. But we'll get something going. And that's what I really appreciate about the community. Because you guys get it. We're all in this sort of grind together. And I enjoy picking up. Some of us have, again, bigger budgets, can spend more on books, and just have more flexibility with what they spend and add to their collection. And that's great. Um, but, I'm just in a position where I'm really scrapping, just like trying to find books. Oftentimes, I'm picking up lower grade books, but um, they fit my budget. And for me, it's just like, again, just having the book versus the grade. So, um, grade is important, but for me, it's more about the price point and having the book. So, um, yeah, it's going to be an interesting year because, yeah, the, I've been picking up more and more books as of late, and it's kind of been I think it's kind of been because like I know now that what I'm adding isn't necessarily staying in the collection. It's more like I am kind of working toward having a more definitive collection. So, yeah, if I think certain books, I'm picking them up now for great value, but these will be hopefully in someone else's position when the time comes for books that I want. So it's just doing sort of that kind of that due diligence. It's like picking up a $20 book for $2. And then when the time is right, you sell it or you trade it for a $20 book. It's like having the cash credit. And then when you get the cash credit, you cash out and you make off with something, more value. Like you know, that's really the trick of the trade here, I guess. And I did, obviously it's something you can do as a seller. I can always pick up these books, sell them, get the cash, and then buy up, right, for stuff. I think there's something to be said just with a trade, with a trade or selling in bulk kind of action that can net you the same results as well. So, yeah, we'll see. It's all fun stuff. So this is part of the fun of collecting, I think. Not just getting too wrapped in trying to, you know, if you're not having fun, then you should get out collecting. But right now, all this kind of like mental gymnastics is part of what makes collecting fun. So I definitely, again, I have a budget this summer, but I also have some trading goals, some targeted books we want to pick up. And so all of these things are going to play into what happens in the coming weeks and months. All right, guys. Thanks as always for hanging out and joining. I've blabbed long enough. We'll see you back here on Friday. I'm going to use the same format. It's pretty cool. And when I live stream with other people, we'll use StreamYard. So that's what we're going to do moving forward. All right. Take care of yourselves. Peace out. We'll see you in the next one.